I have gotten you all of your drinks, and now I shall take your food orders. So, Duxton, you're a manager now. That's right. Duxton has done such a good job with Olga's bar that she gave Duxton his own bar. And even though the existential crisis of being left behind in the Duxdale fandom still haunts me every night by you guys, I hold no grudges. Right. So, how can Duxton help you?
All the while you were in front of me, I never realized. I just can't believe.
Meow. Oh, yeah, that's right. You two have never actually had any scenes together. Leslie, this is Duxton. Duxton, Leslie.
Duxton is perfectly happy to meet Duxton. I mean, Leslie. Leslie is perfectly happy to meet... I'm sorry. Duxton is tripping over his words slightly.
Oh, looks like we're going to have another ship soon. These be the ties that bind. The episode begins with Catra taking over Entraptra's castle for the Horde. Scorpina finds herself lost in Entraptra's castle, so Catra activates her tracking beacon in order to get her to find her way out. But unbeknownst to Catra, some locals are viewing this whole incident as they rush to Castle Brightmoon to inform them of the situation. Meanwhile, She-Ra is training with Lighthope, as she's apparently mastered her sword's transformation abilities in the span of a single episode. Kind of makes the episode prior completely pointless, don't you think? Anyway, Lighthope says that She-Ra has improved immensely, but now it's time for bonding with her animal companion, aka Swiftwind. She-Ra is a little bit taken aback by this, but hey, at least Swiftwind's being positive about the whole ordeal and seems excited. But before they can get any training done between the two, Lighthope starts glitching.
Well, here's your problem. She's running off a broadband network with Internet Explorer. Get Google Chrome and a Wi-Fi signal, and she'll be up to speed. We later cut back to Castle Brightmoon as Bow informs Glimmer of the unfortunate situation involving Entraptra, meaning that she's still alive and making weapons for the Horde. So Princess Glimmer decides they're going to go rescue her. After all, they know where she may be, inside of her castle, so Bow goes to get Adora and the other princesses. But Princess Tumbler decides not to do that, and they decide to go by themselves and not tell anyone.
That is a terrible military decision, and you should feel bad for saying that decision in the first place. This is why Princess Glimmer is not qualified to be the commanding officer.
Seriously, it's Rule 1. Never split up the party.
And Rule 2. Always tell someone where you're going.
Well, after Lighthope reboots Adobe Flash, she explains that she's running over her maximum capacity, and she's unable to fully train Adora because one of her stations that gives her power has been damaged by the previous She-Ra, Myra.
Lighthope also exclaims that She-Ra has the ability to repair it. But before she explains how, she glitches in a very awkward way.
We later cut to the Horde camp as Bow and Glimmer find themselves stuck in a blind spot because Catra is in their line of sight. Catra is currently talking over the radio as Entraptra is going through a little bit of a problem. And yeah, that face pretty much sums it up. But when they hear that Entraptra is there and is possibly being hurt, Glimmer stupidly attacks Catra and just completely goes Dragon Ball Z on them. But seeing that they are outmatched and outgunned, and they lost the element of surprise, Glimmer and Bow make a quick retreat, being pursued by Catra though.
Glimmer tries to teleport them out of there, but she forgets that her teleportation abilities don't really work very well in Entraptra's castle, and so Catra easily finds them. But one little skirmish later, and they instantly transport outside in the middle of nowhere. Catra still tries to attack, but she's immediately subdued by a boa arrow, and now Catra is Bow and Glimmer's prisoner. So is that technically a win for them?
No. If they catch her by accident and not intentional, it doesn't count.
What do you think, Leslie? Leslie?
So, Leslie, tell Duckston about yourself.
Meow?
Oh, a lady of few words. I like.
Meow?
Why don't you tell Duckston what you see when you look at Duckston?
All the while you were in front of me, I never realized. I just can't believe.
Duckston thought so.
We later cut back to Swiftwind as She-Ra, as She-Ra is kind of getting annoyed by Swiftwind, and Swiftwind is kind of just not caring about the mission at all. And he could easily tell that something's wrong with She-Ra, getting in a kind of funny line there. And then he starts ponifying the cast. Mental note, ponifying the characters won't win you the brony fanbase.
Regardless, they've managed to find the broken pieces of the space rock thingy, which are currently floating in midair. Unfortunately, we cut back to Tweedledum and Tweedledumbass, as Princess Tumbler and Beta Boy Bo are trying to figure out what they're going to do with Catra. Bo says that they should just let her go, which is a tactically stupid move. Even Glimmer's not that dumb. But Catra doesn't seem worried about them at all, and quite frankly speaking, she doesn't have to be worried. They've shown their complete and utter incompetence already.
Princess Tumbler tries to get Catra to spill the beans about Entraptra, but Catra is just playing them along, and not even bothering giving them any kind of respect in a response. So they decide that they have to take her with them, and Catra's face right there pretty much shows what's going to happen.
Okay, I'm starting to think that they just took this setup from an unused Bugs Bunny script.
You know, that actually makes a lot more sense than what's going on. So while Adora just flies around trying to figure out what to do with the space rocks, Catra begins gathering information and intelligence via Bo, who just can't seem to shut his mouth, as he straight up explains what Glimmer's powers are and what her limits are. God, what an idiot! She's clearly using him, and he just lets it slide. Anyway, she throws him off the cliff, because now she knows full well of Princess Glimmer's abilities and limitations, forcing her to use her teleportation abilities over and over again, draining her of her powers, until eventually they wash ashore, with Glimmer's powers essentially drained. And Catra takes the opportunity to hit her tracking beacon, which causes a very freaking out Scorpina to realize her location and immediately charge forward.
You see, this is exactly why the Horde will win. The only thing that's going to save the Alliance is MacGuffin Extreme, plot convenience, and of course, our favorite, Deus Ex Machina.
So we cut back to She-Ra. She's currently concentrating, the horse is being annoying, and she has no idea what she's doing. Okay, next.
Well, Princess Glimmer is at her wit's end with Catra, and Catra is just eating it up and playing it along all the way to the letter. But then finally, Princess Tumbler finally says the one thing that triggers Catra the most, bringing up Adora.
Her sly comment of why Adora left her kind of gets under her skin, and it looks like they're about to have a showdown. But, unfortunate for that, Scorpina arrives, and now there's a bigger showdown about to happen.
But we have to cut back to Adora playing with rocks and Swiftwind being useless, blah blah blah, get back to the story. I'm sorry I'm skipping over that, but nothing happens with that plot until the very end. It kinda makes me wonder why they even brought it up.
Oh, it's simple. They needed Adora out of the scene, but they have to show her doing stuff since she's technically the main character.
Yeah, but her bits are just so short that it's almost pointless filler. Well, now they're dealing with a very pissed off Scorpina, and Catra alters the deal. They either let her go and let her return back to her troops, or they murder Entraptra.
Not really caring for the position they're in, Glimmer almost calls their bluff. but inevitably lets her go. And then Catra does the most cruel thing she could. Puts Entraptor on screen, and she straight up admits to them that she joined the Horde. And this really takes an impact on Princess Tumbler. Bow tries to say, let's just get out of here, but she straight up attacks.
Well, I'll defend Princess Tumbler at this instant particularly.
Why?
Well, it's 4-on-2 and Glimmer's out of juice. Do you really think Catra's gonna let them leave?
That is true, it'd be an easy capture of the enemy troops. And considering Princess Tumbler is the daughter of the actual princess in charge, it could be a big bargaining chip.
So yeah, it was going to fight or get captured easily. And if given the choice, I'd rather fight.
Okay, she may be smart here, but she's acting out of emotion, not logic. I'm not giving her the point.
Well, speaking of acting out of emotion, we cut back to She-Ra as she straight up giving up on trying to fix the tower thingy. And Swiftwind finally admits that he apologizes for not being very helpful or useful, and is just annoying. And She-Ra apologizes that she wasn't really treating him like a cohort, more like just an annoying sidekick, which he kind of is. And the two of them have a bit of a heart-to-heart. I like this. But we immediately cut back to the action between Catra and her forces versus Beta Boy Bow and Princess Tumbler. But Princess Tumbler shows off her one last trick up her sleeve as she had just a little bit of magic left to teleport them to safety. But while She-Ra and her horse are bonding, he uses his magic horn to discover the centerpiece of the spire. So they fly up there and tap the tips and then restore the structure to its former glory, and restoring Light Hope to full operational status. And finally we cut to the end where they both catch up on what happened to the other. And that was The Ties That Bind. What a waste of an episode.
I be giving credit where credit be due, as Catra clearly showed she knows what she's doing in the long run, especially when she's under fire and complete at a disadvantage. She's a manipulator. But everybody else in this episode was complete idiots.
Making dumb decisions to move the plot along is not an excuse to make dumb decisions.
And the whole subplot with She-Ra could have been almost completely cut out, and we wouldn't have missed a thing.
Sorry, buddies, but this episode doesn't get a pass either. This episode may very well be even worse than the first episode. Epic fail. So with that being said, we're the Cartoon Gentlemen, organizers of Chaos and Vintage Kings, and we'll see you all next time.
Howdy ho, gents!
I'm going to ignore the fact that you just said hidey ho and ask you, where the hell have you and Leslie been?
Well, Duckston and Leslie have been talking it out, and we decided that we should start dating immediately.
Or this ship is going to set fire.
Yeah, Duckston, I don't think she got what you're laying down.
Duckston has no idea what you mean.
Seriously, I think she misread the signals.
Duckston doesn't know what you're talking about.
Dude, she is putting barbecue sauce on your arm!
Yeah!
Meow. Sorry, Duckston, but me and Leslie are the ones dating.
Duckston is confused. Leslie is spoken for?
Yeah, sorry, Duckston. You're gonna have to find somebody else. Let's go.
But... Duckston needs a drink.